Welcome to the Vertical Shift Podcast. This is Justin.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Steven.
All right.
Steven.
Welcome to the show, man. Steven.
Yeah, not Tommy.
Thankfully, not Tommy. Yeah.
Yeah, who's Tommy? Right? He's never here. He'll hate that.
I love it.
Yeah, same. So we have Steven with us tonight, and we want to hear once again another story, another perspective, because these are the things that point us to Christ and show us that, number one, we're not alone in our journey. You'll be able to connect with him on some level of his experiences. And so we're going to jump into this. And Steven, I'm just going to ask you to kick it off. We're going to ask you questions along the way, man. So where are you from originally? Start there, and then we'll go from there, man.
All right. Yeah. So I do better with the Q&A. So just ask.
All right, man. We got you.
We'll fire from the hip. But I grew up in Weakley County, Tennessee. So graduated from Dresden High School. So right on the Tennessee-Kentucky line.
Okay.
So that's where I grew up.
All right.
And then moved away, joined the Army at 17, and then moved down to this area, I think like in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've just heard a little glimpse. So tell us about the beginning of your life, man.
Your mind is blown.
Yeah, it's blown.
I never saw that coming.
No.
So yeah, no, I mean, growing up from a very rural small town, man, it was rough at a lot of points.
Yeah.
We were not. I mean, we were low class. Striving to do middle class things. And that was big living for us. But yeah, mostly very very low class.
But your birth, tell us about your birth.
Yeah, so I was so my mom was pregnant with me like right at the end of high school or like right after she had graduated high school. So she got pregnant with me, and then of course being very young.
Right.
So I lived most of my young life with her father and her stepmother.
Okay.
Which I knew to grow up as like my grandpa and my grandma. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then I heard that around, third grade was a big change happened. So what happened there?
Yeah, so when I was in third grade, I was adopted by the guy I call him Dad. And so he adopted me then. Him and my mom had been together for a while, and so I'd known him for a few years.
Is this family? Is this somebody else? How did this happen?
Man, that's such a tough story.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're good. No, I mean, I think she just finally got to that point where she was like, I've met the guy that I'm supposed to be with, they're not together anymore. They've
Sure.
Divorced, I think, over 20 years ago. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like, and from what he's told me is like once he met me, spent time around me, and I got to know him and stuff, he just kind of picked me up one day and was like, yeah, this is my son. And just, didn't look back from that point forward. Okay. We still have a pretty good relationship to this day. So I still call that's my dad.
Right.
I'm like, I don't care what blood says.
Yeah.
That's my dad.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so that happened around 10.
Right.
And, all right. So then we're going to fast forward here and jump to, you said you joined the Army at what, 17?
At 17. Yeah, I did.
All right. So where do you come from a military family, or where did that come from?
So, no, not really. I had, it's a really crazy story, to be honest with you, because, I spent most of my childhood and my teenage years just in this where I was like, man, I gotta have it better than this,
right?
And I'm not meaning that as like a insult toward my family or anything, because when my child was born, I was like, man, I just wanted to have better than what.
Yeah,
and she blew me out of the park like 6 months into her life. I was like, she 10 times more than what I had as a young man.
Right.
So I just had that expectation, but it was really tough because it was, how do I do that?
Yeah.
And what does that process look like? I didn't think I was smart enough to go to college. to do things like that. I'd worked on a farm for years. I've worked as a mechanic helping out. My dad, his dad was technician mechanic and stuff. So I worked with him for projects and things like that. And I just knew I didn't want to do that. And that was kind of you had three options where I grew up. It was like, do you want to be a mechanic? Do you want to be a farmer? Do you want to do drugs?
All right.
And I was like, well, I've already been a mechanic and a farmer, and I don't like drugs.
Right.
So I was like, I don't have an option here. So
Yeah,
I need to find a way to get out of this environment, to go make a name for myself, to kind of
I would say that's a
to
lot
break
of
that cycle.
yeah.
you know?
That's a lot of people's story in regards to military. It's their ticket out of the situation they're in. Yeah,
Totally was. So went in at 17. I was like one of the youngest in boot camp. You know, and then had an opportunity that came up. Went through a few things before I ended up went through some schools, specialty schools, things like that. And then had the opportunity, deployment to Iraq came up, so I volunteered for it. And just, like I said, from that point, then the Army, I don't know if it was an insult or not, but the Army was like, you're smart enough to go to college. So then I went to college. So yeah, that's kind of how that like portrayed and happened and stuff. So, yeah.
So at this point, and you mentioned, you share with us that you had family that were involved in church. Church was around you, the Lord kind of a presence, if you will, or reference around you, and you gave your life to the Lord around 12? You said?
12 years old, yeah.
Right. So if we take that and then having been exposed to the things of church and the Lord, and then we kind of skip some of those years and go to searching for purpose, right, in the military. And like, what's next? Or there's got to be more, make a better life, right?
Because how long were you in the Army?
About 10 and a half years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so after the 10 and a half is when you came out and went to college? Is that right?
No.
You went to college while you were in
While
there?
I was in.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so I got here. This is kind of wild, right? So, like, I land from being overseas, being in Iraq, finishing a deployment up with, it's like, I think it was like 180 something of us guys that went on this. Like, I land in the United States on a Friday, Thursday or Friday. I want to say it was Friday. Saturday, I'm barbecuing with my family. Sunday, I'm moving things into an apartment, right, for college. And Monday, I'm practically sitting in midterms. Wow. And so, like, I had, like, no time to figure out, like,
adjust.
What is happening right now. I remember, like, I'd wake up freaking out because, like, I couldn't find my rifle. Didn't know where it was at. And I was like, oh, yeah, I don't have one.
I just need a pencil. I just need a pen.
I just need a pen and a notepad.
And paper.
You know? And I had I struggled real bad, right? So I remember, like, one of the classes, so I was emailing my professors while I was over there, and I was like, look, you know, this is my situation, kind of where I'm at. This is what I'm anticipated to get back, but I don't know. It's up to, you know, the Lord and the Army, where I got to go. And I had this one math professor. She did not care. So when I get back to class, I'm like, look, man, like, of course, I've already missed like a month, you know? Yeah. So she's like, you're going to fail. Like, there's no point, you know? And I was like, well, man, I'm still trying to learn. And I was always decent at math. And I got in that class, and you're talking about like math 110. This is like the basic stuff, right? But here I am, like almost a 21-year-old freshman, and these are 17 and 18-year-old kids who just came from high school. Like, so this is a refresher for them. And I just looked, I was so lost, and I was like, ma'am, if a mortar round comes like right here and explodes, I can calculate and shoot a back azimuth and get within 3 feet of where it was shot. I cannot figure out number 10. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know? And she, you know, but anyways, I was able to get that cleared up. The university was like super helpful with the whole process. So, like, they didn't even charge me for the class. I still kept going. She did fail me. But I ended up taking the class again and then passing it and stuff. But yeah.
Different teacher?
Definitely a different teacher. So, yeah. So, but yeah, and of course that was before AI. Yeah. So it was literally on my own with my encyclopedia looking at.
Not that anybody does anything different today.
That's right. Yeah.
No, it's funny you said that because Aaron and I were just talking the other day because I was a math major in college.
Really?
And,
Which always blows my mind.
Yeah. Mine too.
Did not say that.
Yeah.
Speaking of mind blown was when I walked into that number theory class. Yeah. I mean, I told Aaron, I was like, I felt like, because I transferred from a junior college to the university that I went to, and most of these people knew they were going to be math majors since they were like in sixth grade, you know, and here I was like, I just decided to switch majors. And so I walk in and I mean, I was like low on the totem pole. Like I had no idea.
I feel that. Yeah.
Man, it was, I mean, I studied all the time.
Yeah.
And some of my professors are like, they worked at NASA, you know, and I'm coming in, I'm like, bro, you
What
got
do
to
you even
speak
tell anybody at that
English.
point? Like, hey, I changed majors. I just wanted to know if there were theories about numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to get more than you bargained for.
If I walked into that class, it would be define my class I was supposed to be in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would not intentionally walk into a number theory class.
It was wild. But yeah. Anyway.
But no, so that's the crazy part about it, right? So I went from this kid who wanted to join the military to kind of to reestablish myself, to build something. Wholeheartedly did not believe I was smart enough to go to college. And man, I've got my master's right now, and potentially going back for a doctorate maybe in the near future.
Wow.
So for that to happen, like I'm literally scratching my head now. It's just like mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
And if you like, I remember this is probably like 4 or 5 years ago. So I got Jen and you know my daughter. We're going to see my grandma, and she's like, I never saw you with a mask. Like, there's no way. Never even thought you'd go to college. I was like, thanks, Grandma. I appreciate the support and the love that you had for me.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I mean, my mom did the same thing. I was like, Mom, I said, did you ever think one of your kids would grow up and speak another language? She said, we didn't think you were going to speak English. You know, like, I was like, thanks, Mom, for putting me
Like,
back on
oh,
the spot.
okay, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same
you know.
thing.
Now my wife took that hard. She was like, "What?" I was like, "I didn't take it." I was like, "Thanks for the compliment."
You're like, I didn't believe it either.
I was like, "What do you want me to say?"
Don't be upset. Be happy. Yeah.
like, I joined the army to travel the world and shoot stuff. So I was like, "That's it, man." So
Yeah.
but yeah, so it was kind of that was a good experience though. Anyway.
So, what did you get your undergrad and master's in?
So my undergrad is in history.
Okay.
And then my master's is in business administration.
Okay.
I have an MBA. It's with a focus in executive authority. So I like to say kind of knowledge of all, master of none.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
You sound smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Proud
don't
of
know
you,
about
man.
that. So man, yeah, dude. I'm telling you, man, and I'm going through trying to get my teacher licensure now. So I'm going through some eduminator classes, as I like to call it, some education classes to get that licensure now. So I'm working through that currently.
So, what do you want to get your doctorate in? I'm curious.
Education.
Okay.
Yeah, education.
Okay.
So I don't know, I just really felt really kind of led to that in the last year or so. What that really looks like. I've got experience working multiple levels of government. You know, I
Right.
got experience working with school systems within law.
Yeah.
It's funny so like me and my wife were talking about that the other day. I was like, I feel like I've always been good at everything, but I've never been great at anything. And I was like, but if something's put before me, I'll sit down and I'll study it, I'll research it, I'll look it up, I'll try to find out everything I can. I'll never master it, but I'll know just enough to like potentially go to jail.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's you know, I just feel like that's the level that I do. But you know, being a struggling student, even all the way through my bachelor's, really taught me fine-tuned skills on like how to study, how to prepare, how to look up stuff, how to research these things. Because one of my best friends that I had growing up, he ended up at the same university, and he didn't graduate for like another 2 years after I did. Like, he went there straight after school, and I didn't. I went, like I said, when I was practically 21. And he, you know, he didn't know how to study, didn't know how to research, didn't know how to look those things up. And I was like, bro, I've been doing this my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, now I'll get a C, but I've earned that C.
100%.
And C meant continue.
Yeah.
And so that's how
I've never been more proud of a C than when I got in number theory.
Number 3.
That was biology.
Earned it.
Theoretically, that C says I passed.
That's right.
right.
As I said, C was continue and D meant diploma. And so I was rolling. You know, and I was like, what about A and B? I was like, never saw those guys.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, question for you.
yes, sir.
From 12, when you accepted Christ as a young man, and then going into the Army, like, where were you at in your faith when you took off for the Army and just kind of talk through that.
Yeah, so like I said, growing up, my mom's side of the family, a few of them would attend church, but they always referenced God,
Yeah.
and it was always important, but the action wasn't there.
Sure.
You know, so it was always kind of like, well, how's Grandpa telling me about Jesus, but then he's drinking and
Right.
like, you know, getting very intoxicated and stuff, and you know, and then my dad's side of the family, like again, my grandfather on that side of the deacon, treasurer of the church, like this is like actions were with it. So I kind of got to experience all of that. And then when I hit 17 and I went into the Army, I was just so focused on everything but church. And it was really like, what training can I do? What's the next class I can get into? What certifications can I get, you know, in the military? And, you know, it wasn't until 7 or 8 years later where I realized, oh my goodness, like I didn't attend church practically from almost like 17, 18 years old until I was about 24.
Right.
Like I didn't even attend.
Yeah.
But I still knew of God and would still pray. But I brought this up a few times, like in our prayer nights, you know, where I'm like, I used prayer as like a fire alarm in a building, right? It was for the emergencies only.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, so like when I needed that C,
Yeah.
I would throw one up real quick
Right.
and be like, he's got me. And I'm just like, but no intention of like, well, let your will be done.
Yeah. No real
intention.
relationship.
No, not
Yeah,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah.
And I felt that too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was just like, well, I'm just doing this. Just
Do you feel like it ebbed and flowed? Like you throw stuff up, and then if you didn't see a result that you wanted or whatever, you just kind of were like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, like I would again just kind of like throw one out there and just like, hey, big guy, catch this. But you know, if I didn't put action and stuff into it, and then it didn't come to fruition, then it was just kind of like, well,
Yeah, kind of validates what you're doing. Kind of like,
I
hey,
was like, well,
know of you, but yeah,
right,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I hate to say that too because man, I remember, you know, I did the offering at our church, man, from the time I was like 10 years old till 17, like, and again having such. I don't know, it's a crazy thing because all the men that I did have in my life, like when my parents weren't as focused and involved in my life as what I feel like they should have been at that time, they were kind of doing their own thing too. Like I had all these men that kind of stepped in my like coaches and things like that, you know, and they were all Christ-centered guys. So the example was just constantly around me, but I just was not looking for it. Not at that time. I was more focused on trying to please me and what I thought was best and what I wanted. You know, and so I shouldn't have. Looking back on it now, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude! Like all these dudes, like they cared,
Right.
you know, about more than a game. They cared about, and they knew what my family life was. Like I say, I grew up kind of rough, you know, and wasn't kind of rough, you know, but everyone knew. Small towns, you know,
Yeah.
everybody, you know, and I think that's why they kind of wanted to help out. You know,
sure.
Stuff.
Yeah, and it's hard too, man, in those positions. Like, you know, you can look back and see people that probably loved big and were there and on the peripheral kind of trying to instill things and all that stuff. But to your point and what you're sharing and what I'm picking up on is too, given the environment and everything else, and to what Jeff mentioned before, sometimes the military scene in small towns is like I can get out of here, right?
And that was my golden ticket right there, man.
You
know,
get gone, you can see the world, you can travel, right? You can go different places. My dad, you know, bit that same hook, and you know, he even said that was his way to get out from, you know, crazy. And but I mean, you can see where it progresses to like, man, you take somebody like what you're saying and the environment and everything, then you can kind of see where it's appealing to kind of go, okay, what school, what training? Because now you're like, man, I'm building up a resume and I'm building up an identity of performance and
what got me was whenever I got out, I was like, man, they don't hire gunslingers anymore, so I didn't know what to do, and I'd kind of painted myself in this corner, and I was just like, now I'm in trouble, you know. And I will say there were times in the military too where I definitely prayed. You know, I can remember going out on like our first missions and doing stuff where I was like, yeah, I definitely got to throw one up right here. Like, this is not, I didn't do like the most non-risky job. Like, you know, so I was like, definitely need to like throw one just to kind of protect myself. But there was no, he definitely cared more than I did. You know, the relationship on his aspect of it, because looking back at all the times where I'm just like, I should be dead. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, I should be dead. The stuff that we went through and did and stuff, like, I mean, should not be here today.
Yeah.
So the relationship was very one-sided. It was definitely God, you know, there was no 50-50. It was definitely God 99, me maybe 1, but, you know, but very thankful for that too, man.
So question. So when we did interview with Philip, and kind of same military experience, getting out,
yeah.
but really, you know, just kind of hearing a brief version of your story, knowing how your story began and then being adopted, right? Do you feel like the military option for you was also to kind of like prove that you're a man and,
Oh, yeah.
you know, just kind of having, you know, I hear that a lot as well. I mean, we all as young boys want to prove ourselves to our fathers, but your biological father was never in the picture, right?
No, I didn't meet him until till I was over 21.
Okay.
And then kind of how that came to be was actually I had a brother that I didn't know about from my biological father.
Okay.
And he found me via MySpace. So I'm not going to date myself.
Wow, we
too
went back to
much.
MySpace.
So I'm not going to date myself, but
you just did.
was not in the top 8, but he got there.
Through
you know?
a mutual friend named Tom on MySpace.
Yeah. Everybody liked Tom.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had actually, and I kind of ignored it for a while too, because, you know, they kind of tell you like, hey, look, you're going to go over here and you're going to have this money, because what do you really need to buy? We're going to provide your food. We're going to provide your lodging. We're going to provide this stuff. So your bank account might get, so you need to be really aware of family members that want to take advantage of that are going to have emergencies, and they're going to want you to kind of, you know, dip into this. And they were right. I mean, it was like, you know, I'd get that paycheck and I'm like, what do I don't need to buy anything, you know? And so when I got the message, I kind of ignored it, because I was like, oh, here's someone who's done hacked into something or found out from, you know, a friend of a friend of a friend, and they just want money or whatever. So I actually ignored it for like 3 weeks. Didn't do anything. And then I finally I called my mom one day. We ended up, I think, like running a mission like up in northern Iraq or something, and called her up. And then I said, yeah, by the way, you know, it's like getting off the phone with her. Like, by the way, just a crazy thing happened. Like, this dude messaged me on MySpace claiming to be my brother. Like, how whack is that, you know? And she's like, yeah, about that. you got a few more minutes, or? And then we're still on phone cards, you know. So I was like, it's like, you have 1 minute left on this. And I was like, no, I don't. I was like begging. I was like, somebody give me a phone card. Like, I will pay you back, but give me a phone card real quick, you know. And so anyways, and then she kind of was like, yeah, so there's some truth to that. Like, yeah, absolutely. So then me and him kind of started corresponding back together. But I did feel like that, though, because like even my dad, and I talked about that, adopted me. He was a truck driver. And he was over the road, and so he would come home like 3, maybe 4 days out of the month.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. So it was like every other weekend he would be home. So it wasn't a lot of
So the
influence
man
on
that
his-
chose to be your dad and
Yeah.
adopt you
Yeah.
wasn't there, really.
Not physically, no.
Yeah.
No. And then, like, when he would call, he would mostly talk to my mom. Well, that's his wife, you know. But I would talk to him, like, you know, once, maybe twice a week or something like that at best. But it was follow-up questions. It was like, you know, how's school? Stay out of trouble?
Right.
How's football?
Right.
And I'm like, I'm better at baseball. But my heart was football, you know. So it was just, but it was just like questions like that. And I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Put your mom back on the phone. So
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Here you go. Like, you mowing the yard? Yeah, I mowed the yard, Dad. Okay. All right. Nothing broke? No, sir. Nothing broke. I'm getting the mail, mowing the yard.
Yeah.
You know, feeding dogs, doing all the good stuff. Replumb the bathroom. Good to go now. Here you go. You know,
Yeah.
here's Mom. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like that. So yeah, I think there were aspects of that, and it was just like a curiosity of how tough are you?
Yeah.
Like, you've grown up in a pretty, like I said, you know,
Yeah.
one side of my family was prone to throw a fist before they'd say hi.
Right.
And it was like, can you really put up with this? Can you really do this? So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Interesting.
oh man.
So what happened in your life, and we'll kind of wrap up this session with this, but what happened to get your attention back to really have a relationship with the Lord?
I became a father.
Yeah.
How old were you when you became a father?
Like 24, 25.
Okay, because I was doing the math, and you said about 7-8 years, so 17 to about the time you were back in church.
Yeah.
Insert
Oh, yeah.
child. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My daughter was born, and so it was just we sat down. Me and my wife we had grown up. Both of us had grown up in church and been active in church, and then for me, my Army and college days pulled away. For her college days kind of pulled away, just a little bit. And then it was just we got married, and I remember us like talking about it once or twice, but whatever. And then of course, daughter's born, and my wife was just like, I'm not raising her in anything but church. I grew up in church. You grew up in church. Our child needs church. We need to find Jesus. And I was like, well, and she's like, when's the last time you went to church? I was like, oh crap. Like, I didn't, and time had passed so much, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Like, this is like, it'd been,
I'm further down this river than I realized.
yeah, absolutely. Like,
sure.
I was like, man, I was just kind of floating along and stuff, and it's like, I'm out in the middle of the ocean right now and not even realizing it. So we were like, yeah, and so we started visiting and stuff, and found our church home, man, and have been here for several years now.
Yeah.
It's always an interesting thing, like what's the draw, right? The pullback, and it's, usually we hear it's, kids, right? A person, right?
Yeah.
Marriage, something like that just kind of raises the question. But I think it's something we could definitely use to unpack more, because I think it's a good place to kind of build off of and kind of dig a little deeper, peel back some layers. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't like we started the conversation about talking about going, but I was still in the Army at that time. So I was actually, my wife was living here and I was stationed somewhere else. And so, it was like,
They don't have churches where I'm stationed.
they did.
Yeah, no.
But it was like, I just, I spent my weekends literally driving. I would like on Fridays. I wasn't supposed to do this, but did it anyway. I would leave and I would drive all the way here, and that's 8+ hour drive one way. And then I'd come in at like 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, sleep for a little bit, and then noon on Sunday, I'm driving all the way back. And then I'm like standing in formation on Monday. They're like, go anywhere this weekend? No. It's like I've done listening to like all these audiobooks. They're like 12 hours long.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, I just finished third one. Like,
That's when they knew you were smarter than you gave yourself credit for. All those audiobooks.
well, then I'd already graduated college.
Yeah.
They were like, this guy right here. But so I would do that on weekends where I could kind of get away, not train or not be in the field, and I'd make that drive.
Yeah.
But then once I fully transitioned out of the active part of it, it was like, we need to do this. So
All right. Well, this is where we're going to pause. So, guys, thanks for listening. Stay tuned for part 2.